Born George Randolph Scott on January 23, 1898 in Orange County, Virginia, he would eventually become one of Hollywood's most enduring symbols of strength and integrity. With his tall, lean build and a gaze that seemed carved from stone, Randolph Scott defined the image of the American Western hero for nearly 4 decades. Audiences saw him as the calm, upright cowboy who never strayed from his code. But beyond that polished image was a man far more complex, one whose emotional life remained concealed until long after the cameras stopped rolling, a path that led to the silver screen. Scott grew up in a comfortable North Carolina household. Far removed from the hardship-filled landscapes that would later dominate his films, he pursued engineering at Georgia Tech, but the outbreak of World War I changed everything. Serving in France taught him discipline and resilience, lessons that shaped his reserved demeanor both on and off the screen. Restless after the war, Scott followed a spark of curiosity to Hollywood. He started humbly, appearing as an extra until legendary filmmaker Cecil B. DeMille noticed his natural presence. By the early 1930s, Scott had transitioned into leading roles, and westerns quickly became his specialty. His performances in films like Jesse James, 1939, Western Union, 1941, and Ride Lonesome, 1959, cemented him as a cinematic icon. He didn't rely on dramatic speeches. His characters spoke through quiet confidence, measured movements, and a steady stare that conveyed everything words could not. The private man few ever saw away from the screen, Scott was known for his quiet lifestyle. He stayed far from Hollywood nightlife, preferring privacy over attention. His marriages, to Marion DuPont and later Patricia Stillman, were simple and understated. Together with Stillman, he raised 2 adopted children, maintaining a home life that was stable, traditional, and intentionally sheltered from the press. Those who worked closely with Scott described him as thoughtful and intensely private. For years, he shared a Malibu home with fellow actor Cary Grant, a friendship that was unusually close for the era. The companionship sparked curiosity and rumors, but neither man ever commented publicly. Scott especially guarded his personal life with unwavering discretion. He believed a gentleman kept certain parts of himself tucked away, and he lived that belief fully. A note that revealed the man within. When Scott died in 1987 at the age of 89, he left behind not only a legacy of more than 100 films, but also a handwritten note that offered a glimpse into the emotional life he never displayed. In tender, reflective words, Scott admitted to long periods of loneliness and a longing for deeper connection. He acknowledged that fame required him to wear a constant smile, even when he felt isolated. "You learn to hide what hurts," he wrote, "because that's what the world expects." It wasn't a confession meant to shock, it was simply an honest revelation from a man who had spent his life behind a carefully constructed curtain, an enduring legacy of strength and vulnerability. That note transformed how many saw Randolph Scott. The stoic cowboy of the silver screen became, in hindsight, a man of profound introspection and quiet vulnerability. His final words reminded the world that even those who appear unshakable often carry unseen burdens. Today, Scott is remembered not just for his iconic Western roles, but for the humanity revealed in his last message, a reminder that true courage lies not only in bravado, but in the willingness to acknowledge one's own heart.